Hey everyone, MTashed here, and today we're going to be going over the Titan and if you should play it, why you might want to play it, how good is it, what are the abilities. Let's just jump into the content. We're going to go over the general abilities that don't change between subclasses, such as the jumps and the barricade, and then we're going to go over grenades, the supers, why you might like it, why you might hate it. Let's go. So the first one here is the towering barricade. Create a large barrier to cover yourself. This thing is nuts. You throw this down, it is a huge wall that can be damaged. You can't shoot through it, they can't shoot through it. It has a pretty long timer here, and so you can use it to block walls or doorways. You can use it to pick up ammo. You can use it to revive your teammates. There's a lot of power behind this wall, so I definitely recommend it. Now, the other one here is the rallying barricade. Now, it says on here currently that it instantly reloads your weapon, but that's not true in Shadowkeep. The rallying barricade is a smaller one that you can crouch behind, and you can kind of peek shot over it. There is quite a bit of value in this in PvP. You can be a pretty annoying little player using this, but it will increase, or I guess reduce, your reload time. It'll increase your reload speed, reduce your reload time to about half of what it would be, so the rallying barricade is going to be good for doing DPS on bosses and fighting things. It'll allow you to reload much faster, but as you can see right now, it's just auto-reloading my weapon, so it won't have that functionality in Shadowkeep because it was kind of busted. Now, let's talk about the jumps. Strafe Lift is one that has strong directional control. I use Strafe Lift myself, and I'll show you why. It doesn't pop you too much into the air. I mean, it does pop you into the air, but not too high. I don't want to be floating super high into the air in PvP, which is what I mostly play, but you can also do this. You can kind of glide through doorways and kind of stay low to the ground and get a little bit of speed through this. It's not as fast as you could do it back in Destiny 1, but you can do some fun maneuvers with this where you just change your angle, can kind of speed around the map with it, and I like the feel of this jump. There's also the catapult lift, which is popular for some players. That gives you a strong initial burst of speed, and it kind of really boosts you. You go a little bit higher, but you feel like you're boosting forward. It might be slightly faster in some cases if you're spamming it, but it pops you in the air really fast. And so if you're trying to just jump on top of something little, I find sometimes you almost overshoot or you have to cancel it instantly, and I'm just not sure how much I love this jump. It just feels a little off to me. It's a good jump. I'm sure you'll like it. It might be a little bit better. You can't change directions too strong with it. Kind of burst off and you're gone. Where the other strafe lift, you can kind of change direction. And then the high lift, this is just for jumping really high. It doesn't bring much to the table other than getting as vertical as humanly possible. The horizontal speed isn't good. If you're trying to traverse the map, like, it puts you way too high in the air. You're just a shooting, or I guess you're a sitting duck flying through the air here. So I don't know if you're gonna love this jump if you're playing PvP. But if you need to get up on top of a ledge for PvE stuff, or you need to do a jumping puzzle, it can be pretty good from time to time. So I'm gonna go back to strafe lift. I don't want to touch this. Now let's go over the grenades. We've got the incendiary grenade. This is a bouncing grenade, almost like a frag grenade. Does area of effect, causes them to burn. If they're a low armor target, you can actually one-hit them with this grenade if they burn out. If you have to land it like right on their feet though, it's a pretty good grenade. Decent area of effect. It's good for getting people out of cover, but trying to time it when people are running can be a little frustrating. Fan favorite of the subclass is the thermite grenade. Got a lot of area. It does a lot of damage. For PvE, this is a very good grenade. You can really shut down, different areas here. You can throw that down that hallway, and a lot of people are going to get messed up by that grenade. I love it. And then there's the fusion grenade. If you watched my one with the Warlock, the fusion grenade is a sticky grenade. It will actually attach to the target. It's got aim assist. It's very magnetism. It'll stick right to you. It'll explode, do a bunch of damage, to the point where you only have to shoot them in the toe to kill them with pretty much any gun in the game. Now let's get into the supers. We're going to start with Bottom Tree. Solar ability kills restore your health. That is amazing in PvE. It's very good. And grenade and melee abilities leave a deadly sunspot. Now, the Sunspot is an area of effect flame well that will do a bit of damage, but it'll also give you some cooldown reduction. With the Sun Warrior here, passing through a Sunspot causes your solar abilities to recharge faster and your super to last longer. So it can be a very good thing for PvE. You throw a bunch of Sunspots, you get all your cooldowns back, you get more increased damage, because that's another bonus. Those Sunspots will increase your damage, making it so you hit even harder. It could be good for taking out bosses. The Mortar Blast, when you strike an enemy, they just explode. They just blow up and do more area of effect. And the Endless Siege. Hammers create sunspots as well. And when you're in the sunspot, you throw hammers faster. So let me show you that right now. This is my throwing speed. Here, let me back off here. I've got Sun Warrior active. This is my throwing speed. Okay. You kind of saw it slow down there. So actually popping my hammer is putting this down. So going in here, standing in here, I can throw it like maybe 20% faster. It's just a little bit faster. It's an overall good subclass. The area of effect on these bad boys is pretty sweet. You can leave these sunspots all over the map here, right? And they last a decent amount of time. So, I mean, if you throw one right at the end of your super, you can then go in there, get some of your cooldowns back. It's a nice little perk to have. I think that the bottom tree is better in PvE in a lot of cases because top tree is just so good for area of effect. So let's get into the top tree. Solar ability kills grant you and your nearby allies movement speed and reload speed. Tempered metal is an overall pretty good thing. You can just keep chaining grenade kills on enemies and get your reload speed up. I like it. Hammer Strike. While sprinting, you can use your melee ability to swing your hammer. It's essentially like a big swing that weakens enemies. Now, this actually is a debuff on enemies. It'll actually make you do 35% more damage to them, or 33% or something like that. Overall, very powerful. Explosive Pyre. Killing enemies with the Hammer of Soul causes them to explode. And I'm talking major explosions. And hammers shatter into molten explosive embers. Let's see this. So now, instead of leaving the sunspot, it goes blah, 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 and it does area of effect. So you can use this to really mess up teams that are trying to hide. You can kind of throw it near their feet. It'll explode, do a bunch of area of effect. This is good for taking out multiple trash mobs. And when there's multiple trash mobs, when they explode and when you hit them with it, they will continue to chain and explode. So you get like crazy area of effect with this thing. Now let's go over to the middle tree. Middle tree is a pretty cool subclass. You get a throwing hammer. That's right. You can throw a little mini hammer. It's amazing. I'll show you in a minute. The Burning Maul is a giant hammer. You can see it right there. He's got this giant maul that he can mess people up with. Throwing hammer, if you kill someone with it. Or sorry, no, it's just hitting. I thought it was kill. After hitting an enemy with your throwing hammer, you can then pick it up to get your health regeneration going. This can be very good in PvP. It can be very good in PvE. It allows you to be pretty tanky. Check this out. We'll check it out later. And then kills with your solar abilities increase the ability damage of all of your abilities. So if you melee something and then you throw your grenade will hit more damage. If you throw your grenade and then you melee, that'll do more damage. If you throw your grenade and you melee, your super will do more damage. They will all stack on each other and give you that buff. And so if you use your super and kill a bunch of enemies, you can stack it up to 3 times, and then your grenade will hit much harder. We've got this little throwing hammer. It bounces, and you can pick it up. You can use this as much as you want. As long as you pick that up, you're good to go. You're only going to get the health regen if you hit an enemy. You can't just bank it off a wall and get your health back, or else that would be kind of busted. And this is the Giant Maul. You've got some spinning attacks for mobility. I would not use these much because they don't really hit and they don't track very well. But this is the big one. Boom! Yeah, that's right. Fire Tornado. This is a very good attack. It knocks enemies into the air. It stun locks bosses. It one-hits many enemies. I think it even one-hits supers. It's a very good attack. You can spam this thing. It'll curve around corners. It's got a lot of tracking on it. And it's overall a pretty darn powerful super to use. Now let's jump into the Void subclasses. Now, The Void subclasses. These have gotten they're getting a big buff. So there are some new mods coming that are going to directly buff Void subclasses. So you're gonna be sitting pretty with these. But also, the Ward of Dawn is getting a massive change in Shadowkeep. I'll talk about that in a minute. So this middle tree is a pretty popular one because it chains damage. It's almost like a poison. It's a spreading poison. That's the way I kind of picture it. Striking an enemy will cause a void explosion. But here's the big one here. Controlled demolition. Hitting a target with a void ability will attach a void detonator. Further hits cause the detonator to explode, dealing damage to surrounding targets. Now this is interesting because you melee something and it puts a little orb on it, and then when you shoot them or punch them again or kill them, they'll explode. But then it'll attach detonators on them, and on them, and on them, and you can get these insane chains of just continued explosions. It can chain, indefinitely. It's very powerful, and you can pair it with resupply. You and nearby allies regain health, as well as grenade and melee energy when your void detonators explode. So if you throw this into a group of 50 enemies and they all explode, well, boom, you're getting a bunch of health and regen back. You can just keep hucking grenades all day. It's amazing. And then the banner shield. So the banner shield, you can use your normal super and attack. You can throw your shield. But you can also block with it. Now, this will block a bunch of damage, and people can shoot through this to get bonus damage. It's pretty popular in PvE when used properly, but it's not like god tier must-have because of this bad boy right here. Top Tree Sentinel is getting a change and a buff. So this one allows you to hold down the super button and drop a Ward of Dawn. This is a big shield. I'm going to show you this shield. I literally didn't hold down the button long enough. That was awkward. Luckily, we only have to wait a couple seconds to get it back. But you throw down a big orb, essentially, that you can go inside. Boom. And this makes you tankier inside. It allows you to get a protection from outside fire. There's an exotic that allows you to keep that overshield when you get out of it. But the big one is, it will now give you Weapons of Light, which is a 35% weapon buff. It'll allow you to hit 35% harder on your targets, which is amazing. So you can strafe in and out of this, get a weapon buff for like 10-15 seconds, and just decimate all your enemies. It's going to be a very popular super. This is going to be kind of a must-have in raids, most likely. So Ward of Dawn is going to be kind of a value pick. It's going to be something you should definitely work towards right when you start the game. Melee kills restore health for you and nearby allies. Awesome. We've got Turn the Tide, your overshield. Oh, sorry, no, we got Defensive Strike first. Killing an enemy with your melee creates an overshield around you and your allies, and your overshield will increase your melee damage. It lasts longer, and it'll increase your reload speed. So it's like a team buff. You're healing everyone, you're shielding everyone. It's an overall awesome thing, especially for PvE. Now, bottom tree is pretty damn good as well. Grenade kills recharge your grenade energy. You can shield bash or shoulder charge into people. So you can run around like this and just shoulder charge into people. You can use that for mobility a little bit. Boom. Pretty awesome. Kills while surrounded reduces the cooldown of your super. So if there's a bunch of enemies and you're just shooting enemies, you're going to get your super back much faster. And you gain an additional shield throw charge. Now, this is good if you want to try to use this as more of a ranged super. You can throw it twice. You're going to get those cooldowns, and you get this a lot. You can, like, literally spam this. So if you want to use this as a ranged super, you can spam these around. I think it's amazing. Like, I personally like these. They bounce like crazy. Like, they bounce all off stuff. Like, look at this. It'll bounce off, like, 3 different things, and pop, pop, pop. It'll kill people. So you can kind of just, like, bank it into areas and just hope for the best. If there's a bunch of people hiding in there, you can just try to shoot some different angles, and you can shoot off the ground if you want. Like, it doesn't really matter what you're doing. You'll catch someone. It'll heat seek them. It'll bank and get them. So I like that super as well. But top tree is probably going to be really popular for PvE. We got the suppressor grenade. Probably one of the biggest reasons why you would want to use this subclass, because you can actually knock people out of their supers. You can cause them to not be able to jump, use their grenades, their melees. You throw it, you bounce it, and it will stop them from using their super. Now, I'm gonna try to do this here. I'm gonna throw a grenade to suppress myself, and it's actually gonna pull me out of my own super. So you gotta be careful with these, but watch this. Pretty cool. You can grenade people in the middle of their super, drag them out of it, and they're a sitting duck that can hardly even jump. You can't, like, double jump or anything when you're in there. So it's pretty powerful. I can't grenade. I can't even use my grenade ability. I can't use my super even though it's full. Super powerful grenade to have. We've got the Void Wall, which is kind of a horizontal thermal strike. It covers a pretty large area. If you're standing in it, it will truck you. It's good for situations like this where there's people behind cover and you just want to huck that in there and kind of push them out of cover or behind walls. Overall, great grenade. And then we've got the probably least favorite grenade of many people is the magnetic grenade. It's like a fusion grenade. It just doesn't bring a lot to the table. It sticks to stuff. It's fine, but it's not going to be amazing. I think I've been killed by this once in all of Destiny 2. So it's just not doing enough. The Striker is pretty damn powerful right now. There are some changes coming to the armor and the super generation and things like that. But we're going to start with the bottom tree, which has plagued the Crucible for the last little while. It has been extremely powerful, too powerful for a long time. Melee kills immediately trigger health regeneration. This is awesome. When a close range situation, you punch someone, you get your health back. That's amazing. Frontal Assault, when you strike an enemy with this melee ability, it'll reload your weapon, and it'll boost your weapon damage and stability. Now, this is a very nice buff to your damage. In some cases, it can reduce how many shots it takes to kill someone. It can go from 3 shots to 2 shots, 4 shots to 3 shots. It depends on the weapon and other factors, but it's an awesome buff to have in PvP and PvE. Knockout. Critically wounding an enemy or breaking their shield increases your melee range and damage. So when you're in the middle of a duel in a close range situation, you're fighting, and you pop his shield, you can melee him further than he can melee you, and then you're going to heal off that melee. So you can do some kind of tricky stuff with it where you're doing this, and then you go in, get the punch, get the kill. It's awesome. Now the super. Destroying an enemy with Fist of Havoc extends its duration. The thing is, while you're in your super, your kills count as melees as well. So you can shoulder charge around, healing and extending the duration. This thing already lasts a whole bunch of time, and so you can just chain kills and heal, and it's not unnormal to get 8, 9, 10 kills with one super against a bad team. You can go from one end of the map to the other. It's busted. They are changing some things. They're reducing how much super you get back. I don't know the full patch notes, but that is definitely getting nerfed because it was too strong. The other version is a little bit more area of effect based. So damaging enemies with your Seismic Strike will recharge your grenade, which is pretty darn cool. Your Seismic Strike is another shoulder charge ability, allows you to run in, slam them with your shoulder, and it kind of chains electricity. Magnitude, you get an additional grenade charge, which is pretty damn awesome. And then we've got Terminal Velocity. Fist of Havoc, ground slam attacks leave a area of effect damage. So I can slam down like this, and it'll leave a little area of effect like that. That chains. So the first one doesn't do it, but this one does. You can kind of get area effect in the area, zone people out. I've also got 2 grenade charges. That's pretty cool. And now, my middle tree. So we've got Ballistic Slam. After sprinting, you leap into the air and you slam into the ground like a missile. Thunder Crash. Hurtle through the air like a missile. You can bet there's a lot of missile. And Impact Conversion. Gain super energy for hitting enemies with your Ballistic Slam. And then Inertia Override. This is funny. So when you pick up ammo, you can slide over it and it will reload your weapon, but it'll also boost your damage. This is another thing that can change the time to kill on some weapons from like 4 shots to 3 shots, 3 shots to 2 shots. It's a pretty cool perk overall. I can't really demonstrate it unless I have some ammo on the ground. But you just slide over it and get that ammo. You go like this, you melee, Ballistic Slam, does a pretty good amount of damage. But if you miss, can't do it again until you have your cooldown. So your melee ability is now gone. Your slam ability is gone. If I do it again, I can't just slam into the ground over and over again. Until I get that back, it's gone. And now Code of the Missile. Yeet! This is like the yeet juice. You can move around the map. You can do some fun things with it. I'm a big fan. You can kind of go, oh, what's this? Heat-seeking missile? I get to drive? It's pretty powerful. You can take out other supers. It's a fun super to use. It's not great for getting a bunch of kills unless everyone's really grouped up. It's more of a counter super to take out other people or a panic situation where someone's shooting you, you're almost dead, and you go, eee! And slam into them. So that's the super. So the pulse grenade is a pulsing grenade. It does multiple things, good for zoning people out. We've got the big old lightning grenade. Not as good as it used to be in the first game, but you can stick that to a wall, and it'll chain lightning over and over again. Boom, boom, boom. So if someone's hiding behind cover, you can kind of huck that grenade at them. Some people like to hide in here, and you can kind of just throw a grenade and try to catch them with that. And then we've got this bad boy, which is a flashbang. Now, the flashbang is actually pretty good. Landing it and doing damage with it, you have to be pretty close to them. But if you threw that in there and there's a bunch of people hiding, all of them will be blinded. And so you can then clean up with a shotgun or a fusion rifle or whatever it might be. The flashbang isn't super popular, but when used properly, can be pretty damn good. But that's pretty much it though, guys. Titans are awesome subclasses overall. I think they're going to be very, very popular in the new expansion. Ward of Dawn is going to be amazing. If you like to punch stuff, it's going to be good. The supers are all pretty damn strong, in my opinion. I don't think that there's any, like, super weak ones that are really struggling. The exotics for this class are awesome. The exotics, like, they have some pretty nuts ones that give you 2 grenades, buff your abilities. One-Eyed Mask allows you to see targets through walls and heal when you kill them and do bonus damage. Like, they've got some awesome, awesome exotics. I am typically a Titan main. You might not know because I'm so ugly, but I'm a bit of a Titan main myself, so I recommend them. It doesn't look like they're going to get much weaker in Shadowkeep other than maybe the Arc Titan, but this is just glorious. This is just a glorious subclass. Thank you so much for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed, and I will see you soon, my friends. Bye-bye.
Hey, y'all, you looking for some energy? Huh? You're going to get boosted up for Shadowkeep? Make sure you order some of this Focus. 10% off by using code MTASH. Links in the description. Yay!